I thought she was going to tell him.
That was a genuine, like...
In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign
and yesterday's classics are forgotten, 3 women intend to remember.
Hey everyone, welcome to Millennials of the Movie House, the podcast where your average Janes watch older movies and answer the question we've put to ourselves. Are they still relevant and should we still be watching them today? I'm Betsy.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Serena.
And today we are talking about Women on the Run, 1950, written by Alan Campbell, Norman Foster, based on a short story by Sylvia Tate, directed by Norman Foster, and cinematographer Hal Moore.
Yes,
and I
which is
mentioned that
important. Yes.
because it was good. Starring Ann Sheridan, Dennis O'Keefe, Robert Keith, and John Quaylen, Frank Jenks, and Ross Elliott.
This is our 4th podcast coming from the bunker. And it seems to be working out okay.
So far, so good. Then again,
I was going to ask how many bunker casts we've done.
Mm-hmm.
This is number 4.
4?
Yep. Going strong. So apologies for Serena's audio. Hopefully,
and for ours. I mean, we aren't that great.
Yeah. Every episode, it's a new take.
Adventure.
I sound lovely. Can you hear me? Hello, Is anybody out there? Hello.
Imagine if we accidentally had her on mute the whole time.
Oh my god.
Quick synopsis, Tracy, go. I almost forgot.
No, I always forget. Okay. So we see a guy walking his dog, and he witnesses a murder, and it's part of a mob hit. So the guy the mobster kills was going to testify against the mobster. So now Frank, who is the guy walking the dog, is now the new witness for the police. So the police want to bring him in to protective custody so that he will testify. Well, Frank doesn't want to do that, so he goes on the run. So the police goes and contacts Frank's wife. Does she have a first name? It's Mrs. Johnson.
Eleanor.
Okay. Eleanor. So to use her to go find her husband. And we find out that they've kind of been having problems, and it's an adventure to go find Frank. So Eleanor teams up with a reporter who she's promised the inside scoop.
Also, I appreciate you. That was a great setup. Good job. Good job. That's a good premise.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, if you have not watched this movie, stop listening to this podcast and go watch it because there will be spoilers in this episode.
Spoiler alert.
And you know what? I'm going to skip right to the end. This was worth a watch to me.
Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend watching it.
Definitely watch it.
It was good. It was fast-paced. It was funny.
Yep.
Watch this one.
Yep, this was a good one.
I'm a yes.
And we're done. That's all we needed, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
And everybody will see you next week.
I guess we already answered my question. How did everyone like it?
I liked it. Serena?
I liked it a lot. It was a great, healthy escapism.
Yes. Very, yes.
Yeah, it was engaging.
Well done.
Yeah, it was engaging. We were paying attention. We wanted to know what was going to happen, like where the next step was taking us.
And I will say, I feel like I didn't quite hit that moment until the twist happened. And then I was like, oh, that's it. I am here for this movie. It took until
She's
then.
all in.
I was before it. I was like, okay, we're going on this adventure. It was like a scavenger hunt. One clue led to the next. Where are we going?
Yep.
So I was there.
Yep. And once I realized that it was about her rediscovering her husband as she was actually looking for her husband, I was like, okay, I get the why it's paced and, the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, I liked it. Really great storytelling. Everything. I really don't have any complaints about the movie except that there was a little bit of cheesiness in the roller coaster scene and the screaming that they use the same sound clip definitely over and over again. The roller coaster sound clip was definitely recycled.
I didn't notice it because I was so impressed with
The cinematography.
the way that they were shooting it.
Yeah.
I was so focused on how they were like moving the car and how she was going with it and the green screen. I was
I was there.
So
I
you
bought
understand
it,
it.
Yeah.
You understand it for like what it is, and I'm like, I have to remind myself it's a 1950s film.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So like nowadays, there's a camera on the roller coaster in real life. Like,
well, even,
nowadays it's totally different.
Yeah, even in the car, I don't know why they were going on these crazy cab rides, other than maybe that's what, I thought the green screen matched up well to what everybody was doing, what the car was doing. I thought that was well done too.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, believable. I actually was like, after I saw like the outside view of the cab whipping around, I was like, maybe that was real.
Almost,
right? Yeah, I felt it almost. And it helped because they paired it with real location shooting. There was so much of San Francisco in there that it kind of blended seamlessly with the green screen. Almost.
Ooh,
there were a couple of moments. Huh?
Something's behind you. Watch out! He's gonna pounce. Oh. She's gonna pounce. Sorry, I got distracted. I also, speaking to that, Betsy, I would say anyone who is a San Francisco lover, which, I work for someone, here and there, that they used to live in San Francisco. She loves it. Like, they wanted to move back. They almost did. And I've never personally been myself. I've been close, but I never made it myself. And it's definitely like, you can just, even with it being an older film, you can totally appreciate like the city's beauty and quaintness and like different, like there's no other city like San Francisco. There really is no other city that is like that.
That's so true.
So,
and it's funny you say that because in the back of my head, I'm like, my boss would love this movie just because it's a love letter to San Francisco. Yeah. All right, let's jump into the questions. Top of the marquee. What was everyone's favorite part? I think I can guess Tracy's, but okay, go ahead.
I had a couple. Do you want me to say them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. First off, Drunk Lady was
I knew you were going to say it. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
so funny.
Not even, she didn't even need lines, but they added this just bit of humor in there. Hilarious. The cinematography we've touched on was very good. Very convincing. Like, we've seen movies that have been more recent with horrible green screen.
Yep.
And I get why they use green screen, but this was just, he knew how to work it.
Yep.
So that was good. At the beginning, so when the mobster tries to shoot Frank for like witnessing the crime, they say it was such a great part. The detectives goes, "Oh, he tried to shoot you," and he goes, "Yeah, you didn't have like good aim." And he goes, and he was like, "I was standing right here." And the detective goes to him, "No, he had great aim. He just thought the shadow was you." And Frank moved, and you could see the bullet hole in the wall was right in his head where he was. It was just a perfect shot because you didn't see the hole in the wall until the guy moved out of the way, so you could see. I thought that was just
was very effective. Yeah.
However,
oh my God,
my favorite part was when Frank and Eleanor finally, come together. And I said to you guys, I said, "Oh, here we go. I can't wait. They're going to have a shoulder. All I want is a shoulder grab kiss." And it didn't happen. Their first embrace was actually a hug. Mm-hmm. And I said, I appreciate that. It was like you don't just run to kiss somebody. You run to hold them. And that's what they did. And then after the hug, they did kiss each other. And it was a nice kiss. It was beautiful. Like, compared to some,
I 100% agree with you. And I feel like the difference is in most movies we watch, it's this really passionate kiss because they're new lovers.
Yes.
They've just found each other or whatever. They've just realized they've fallen in love. With these two, it's a refound love. It's two married couples. It was two married couples. It was a married couple. So it was tender.
Yes.
It wasn't passionate. It was tender.
Yep.
And I really liked that. Yeah.
So I was like, not that this was a funny movie, but it was, I don't know, it was nice.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So,
agreed.
I liked that. Normally we normally we are anti-shoulder grab, but for some reason, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like we were kind of rooting for the shoulder grab for a second.
Were. Yeah, we were like, okay, here it comes.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. This movie did things that, like, you know,
you didn't expect.
Just didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the normal. Yeah, it wasn't what you expect.
Yeah.
Plot twists. No shoulder grabs when you would any other 1950 film would probably at that point throw in the shoulder grab, and instead, like the hug, like you said, that I think that was probably my favorite scene too, because it was just like renewed love.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I'm glad you brought up the not to change, but I'm glad you brought up the shadow thing, Tracy, because I kept hearing the shadow. It was a very it was used a lot in the movie. I don't know if because the lady that was following her was her shadow, and they're like, "Oh, I found your shadow," and then this guy's shadow.
Of the shadow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with that, but yes, you are right. That's very poignant, Serena.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know there was a couple of different times that they said shadow, and there was a couple of different instances, and I might even be forgetting one, but I just remember you mentioning the shadow part reminded me of that shadow where, you know, they're all tailing her. They're all tailing Mrs. Johnson looking for Frank.
Yep.
So, anyways.
So was that your favorite part, Serena? Or did you have another?
I would say there was like my favorite parts were like scattered throughout like quotes and notes and things like that.
Yeah, I have a couple of quotes too. Yeah.
So but I feel like that scene, like I was so nervous with the whole the roller coaster and her being stuck on there and seeing Frank down below, and when we heard the gunshot after, and we were like, okay, are they like, in my head I was like, are they really gonna kill this guy now?
Yeah.
And then I was hoping that he maybe killed
like
Danny Boy.
Yeah.
So, but then when we finally see that he's alive again, like I think that's like the best part. You know?
They used tension really, really well in this. There was even a moment where I genuinely gasped.
Yeah, what was to a point where I was like, really?
I don't know why, but I really thought that she was gonna send Danny Boy to find Frank at the beach without anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it was just, I think it was because it was just happening so quickly, and that speaks towards how quickly things were happening in this movie. The fast talking, and you really had to pay attention to everything, but it was just, it caught me off guard, and I literally went, so.
I think I liked the faster pace because I feel like, not to say that other movies drag, but I think that the pacing, the timing, the storytelling, it all seemed to be really well placed and like kind of more like what we're used to nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good point, because it did take me a minute because I thought they were talking really fast, and we always have subtitles on. But once I got into it, I understood. Like I was, and you're right. We usually drag, and it is until like 3/4 of the way where we're like, okay, we're into this. We were into this at the beginning.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, well, the opening scene was the murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they really kind of like threw us on our toes right away, and everyone was like, well, I don't know about you guys. I'm saying everyone, like me, myself, and my laundry over
and
here.
all of our listeners.
All like,
me, myself, and my laundry.
I like that.
We were just like, I was just thinking, like, geez, okay, we're really on our toes now. Like, we've just opening scenes of murder.
Yep.
So
yeah, they really just dived right into it.
So what was your favorite scene?
My favorite part was Eleanor.
Just her.
Eleanor, because I really appreciated that this turned out to be almost a character study hidden in a film noir. I feel like you don't really get a lot of character development in noirs. And I would still qualify this as a noir, but she had such a great character arc, and she was, right from the get-go, we loved her. Like, she was snarky and, like, talking back and doing her own thing. She could not have cared less at the beginning, and then she kind of, like, grew to, like, refall. Her entire progression was fantastic to me. And she had really
I have to ask,
too.
I have to ask, you need to define noir for the majority of the millennials.
That's fair. I thought you were about to talk.
No.
It's a film genre primarily in the 40s and 50s. It's basically a murder mystery, but there are certain characteristics that kind of make it stand apart. The cinematography and lighting tend to be kind of on the darker side. You usually have a detective or a private eye with a femme fatale. So there are aspects that that make it a film noir.
So when you say noir, I was thinking night in Spanish or French, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
it is
the word.
Visually,
and I was
tends
thinking
to be dark, yeah.
Visually, yeah, how dark it was, and I'm like, that must mean that, but I didn't know. I've heard the term, but I didn't know what it meant. So
now you know.
I'm speaking. I'm the relatable.
It's that it's that stereotypical private eye.
Yeah.
That like.
Yeah.
And the fast talking is usually very indicative, and like yeah. You see here, and it's. I almost feel like it's
I feel like Dame has said a lot.
Yes. And I feel like none of the characters are necessarily likable. There are just some characters who are less evil than others. So you go with them. I'm actually in general, I'm not the biggest fan of that genre.
I do. I like the mystery.
But I liked this.
Well, I was going to say, this must be right up Tracy's alley, because like anything mystery, true crime, any of that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of was getting like the like, I don't know, not like the Clue vibe, but kind of.
Yeah.
Like I kept getting this like weird, I don't know, like it was like a flashback, but it wasn't to anything.
Right.
It was like to the time I played Clue.
It was familiar, so it was a noir, so you got that feel. The twist, the twist was almost familiar too, which we haven't really talked about. The twist was excellent. I think no, we didn't expect it at all. Usually we can guess twists a little bit. We're always trying to guess what's happening.
Right.
And I think we were so accustomed to older movies not having a twist that we just literally didn't expect it.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
He's the bad guy, right?
What?
Twist.
Wow.
I did not see that coming.
Did not see that coming either.
So
on top of the fact that it was revealed early for a twist. It was
within the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, like maybe half hour. Yep, it was right there so that we could then follow along and like watch, and that it just made the tension jump the second that happened.
Yeah, because the audience knew before the main character.
Yeah.
So you were in on it and you were like, "No!"
Yeah. You're like yelling at the TV like, "Yo, figure it out!"
Yeah.
Don't go down that dark alley.
Yeah. But in a good way.
Yeah.
Usually things like that annoy me, where I'm like, oh my God, these people are so stupid, figure it out.
No.
But this wasn't that case.
No, yeah.
So.
No,
she was never the damsel.
She was never the damsel. No, she
Except for the roller coaster.
True, except that's when she figured it out.
Yeah.
Like she's like, yes, she was trapped on the roller coaster, but it's not like somebody had to go save her from the roller coaster. She figured it out, and she was trying to actually save Frank by yelling for him.
Yeah. All right, so everyone's favorite parts was just everything. The whole movie was our favorite part. That's good. Ladies, please remove your hats and silence your cell phones. Aspects that did and did not age well.
I'm going to go.
Yep.
Hey, but don't take too many, because I only have 2.
All right, well, you can go.
Well,
no? All right.
Say one.
You just throw in. Basically, as I have, sexism.
Mm-hmm.
There were lots of guys, like you were just saying, Betsy, about, well, he's not running, he's running from you, you're the problem. So we have that scene where the doctor is like, he has hypertension and he's got a heart problem. And, if his home life was better and he was more relaxed, so he was blaming the woman. And there was a point where the cop was, he's not running from us, he's running from you, the horrible wife at home. So it was that sexism. However, she didn't take any of their crap.
Nope, she didn't. Yep.
She stood up. She immediately called the doctor out. She was like, "Oh yeah, and I'm gonna, sure, go ahead, blame me, blame the wife." Like she immediately was like, "No, I don't. I'm not taking that answer."
Yeah.
That's why I liked her so much. She's very just like, no.
Yeah, and at one point, and I forget who. I think it was to the cop where she says, "I've had enough of all the all wise men."
Yep.
Like she was just like, "I'm done with this.
Yep.
I don't buy into any of this crap. Stop saying it."
Well, and they kept saying things like that, but she never showed that she was that person.
Right.
From the beginning, even though you could tell she didn't love her husband in those moments, she still warned her against warned him when he called and didn't give the police any extra information. She was constantly on her husband's side.
Yep.
That never wavered.
Yep.
And I appreciated that.
Yep.
Because she wasn't
United
proving
front.
that she was the woman that they were saying she was.
Exactly.
Yeah, united front.
But you're right. There were moments, there were definitely sexist lines, but like you said, they were almost self-aware.
They were,
because she responded.
Always had a response,
Yeah.
or she wouldn't react. She would just be like, "Yeah, I'm not buying this."
Yeah. Serena, what were your notes?
Well, to just continue on with Tracy's, I forget who said it. Was it the inspector, the detective?
Yes,
Inspector
the Inspector
Ferris?
Ferris.
She said something. She was saying something, and he said, "Mrs. Johnson, didn't your husband ever beat you?"
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
That was and
that
all
was
three of us. We were like, "Whoa!"
We literally all like literally leaned back in our seats, like, what the hell was
Yeah.
that?
And I feel like,
Yeah.
if I'm remembering it correctly, she just kind of looked at him like,
Yeah.
Like-
Are you kidding me?
"Right."
Yeah, I almost want to. We should, dude. Side note, for Tracy, all the gifts need to be her expressions. Like
Gosh,
the
it's
gifts,
gonna be
she
hard.
had gifts that are like
She had some expressions.
she had a lot of fierce going on.
It's gonna be hard to get anything because I feel like I tried looking up quotes for this and there's nothing. It's one of those hidden movies.
Yeah.
It is, which
Fall into obscurity.
The reason that it's not more well known, it was actually destroyed in 2008. The only known copy of it was destroyed in a fire in 2008, and so somebody at Turner Classics had to go find a new copy of it and have it restored, and that's why we're able to watch it again. But it really almost got lost to time.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate because it's such a fantastic movie.
It is a great movie.
And it makes you wonder how many movies were lost to time that could have been, classics.
I mean, this brings us back right to our first episode, Matahari, where they have people saying that they cut clips of this because it was too risque, but they lost the original copy. So we were like, but they are still, you had said, they're still discovering stuff. And this guy had discovered he found an old copy.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like the double-edged sword of archives, because he found it in the BFI archive. And the double-edged sword of archives is that, yeah, they're preserved, but who knows what are in those archives? Like, you don't have the people going through those archives to find these gems.
Yeah.
What is the archives that you're talking about? You telling me there's like another vault out there like Disney has?
Well,
Yes.
It's a good example. Disney probably does literally have a vault, an archive, and most studios have them as well. But BFI is the British Film Institute. They have very extensive archives, and then they sent it to the UCLA Film and Television Archive. That's also there. New York has a couple of film and television archives. It's just there are archives all over the world of films just sitting there waiting.
I mean,
And then like, what's happening though? People, like random film enthusiasts are going to these archives and knocking on their front door and saying, "Hey, let me in."
Yeah, that basically. So the only reason, like I said, the only known print was destroyed in 2008, and then this, he's the host of Turner Classics Noir Alley, Eddie Muller. He was like, "No, I want to find this movie." So he went and did some research and went to BFI and was like, "Listen, can I have a copy of this movie?" And it just takes that one person who's like, "No, I want to track this down." But there's nobody who's just randomly going to look for for what's in the archives.
yeah.
That it's like fallen into obscurity.
Yeah.
Like fires,
Well,
things
and
like that destroy
especially
stuff.
older films are any films that are sitting on shelves that haven't been digitized are literally disintegrating. That is what they're doing at this moment right now. That's what film does. So
Yeah.
there's this constant rush of trying to get those things saved and digitized and preserved. So a good real life example from my work, a good real life example is so PBS goes back to the 50s. It's decades and decades and decades of film and tape and whatnot, all just sitting on shelves at individual PBS affiliate stations. So there's a program, the AAPB, which is working towards preserving that. They have a grant and they have funding and their sole purpose is to just go save and preserve all of this footage that's potentially being destroyed, you know? So that was all.
Woo.
Oh, well, that's
AAPB.
good. I'm glad somebody's doing something about something, because it's literally like, I know we have the power to do it. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's that, and it's money and manpower.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that doesn't seem as important.
It's low priority.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So aspects that did age well. We're still on aspects that did age well, everybody. Aspects that did age well. Basically everything else. So the twist was very effective. There were like moments of comedy that were actually still funny. The way they talked was great.
Moments of suspense.
Yeah, definitely. And then just going back to it being a love letter to San Francisco, the location shots were fantastic. So much of it worked.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Aspects that remind you of modern movies.
All right. So it's not a movie, it's a TV show, and it's kind of a stretch.
Does not count. Move on. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it was just going back to the film noir. Before we even got to any of the storyline, it reminded me of Dragnet. The way the cops were talking, they were just like, they kind of cut off Eleanor and Frank, for that matter. That was like, I don't need to know your backstory, just the facts, ma'am.
Well, Dragnet, but that's a precursor to Law and Order and CSI and like all those detective shows.
So it just kind of, it gave that feel.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I could think of. Other than I think it's a trope of so I don't think we even said what the twist was. The twist was this reporter guy was the murderer.
Yeah.
He was the mob boss or whoever. And I think of course, we can't think of examples, but that has been done where you think he's the good guy and he turns out to be the bad guy.
Definitely, yes. But I really think that it's important to note that there was not a single moment in this movie where we're like, oh, this reminds me of whatever. It really, I felt like it stood alone.
Yeah.
But you're right. It did incorporate so many tropes that we are familiar with, but they worked so well into the movie that it didn't feel like I was watching something I had already seen.
Yeah, yeah. It did. It had an original touch to it.
Yeah.
It definitely
did.
It was
hard to do.
I was just gonna say, in agreement to you guys, like, it's one of a kind.
Yeah.
It was just like, you guys know I'm usually like, ooh, Sound of Music, ooh, Willy Wonka, ooh, Wizard of Oz, something, you know.
Although,
like,
I mean,
nothing.
Yeah. When other films do that, though, they steal from it because it's a good idea. So I don't know. More people need to watch this movie because it was effective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was definitely unique, but not unique in a weird way. Like, not unique in an uncomfortable way.
Right.
Like, still familiar, but like had its very own touch to it, and it wasn't like,
and
you know.
Always end up watching movies that have been based on stories or books.
Right.
Always. We don't mean to do it. So
know.
This is based on a short story called Man on the Run.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I would read this one.
I would totally read this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to write that down.
And you know what? Well, and I can't speak towards it because I haven't read the short story, but it was written by a woman. And I wonder if the reason Eleanor is so well developed is because it's based on a story written by a woman.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Notes roundup. I would like to call out the conversations between Eleanor and Leggett before we knew he was Danny Boy, because their tete-a-tete, their back and forth was phenomenal.
Yep.
It was fast-paced and snarky, and they like had comebacks for each other the whole time. It was so great.
Evenly matched.
They really were. Yep.
To a point where I almost thought that Eleanor was gonna was behind it the whole time almost.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was giving her a little too much credit.
I thought that too at one point.
Well, I thought that because they had such good chemistry, I thought there was a moment where I even turned to you. I was like, are we supposed to expect her to fall for the reporter or rekindle her love for her husband? Because they just,
that's what I was thinking too.
They were hitting it off so well. Okay, that was my one note.
Okay, note roundup. I just have a couple quotes.
Yeah, same here.
Well, what you were just going off of, Bets, especially when they were sitting down at the Chinese food to get a drink. It was her and the reporter.
Yeah. She did that with heavy air quotes.
Yes, I
everybody.
did. He was like, "Do you know where your husband is? Do you know that?" Like, he was like rapid fire about the case. So it was all serious questions, and then he goes, "Do you want to dance?" And he goes, and she goes, "Drop dead."
Yeah.
Like, it was immediately like, and I think I'll share the
trailer.
The trailer, because it's in there,
Yeah.
and that's good.
It's a perfect
It is
example
a
of their
perfect,
back and
yeah.
forth.
But part of that was he was talking about how she's like, I'm not going to give you a story. And he goes, "There's two ways I get a story. I either win you over or buy you over." And he goes, "Is it working? Am I winning you over?" And she's like, "I'd rather be bought." And it was just like I'm not having any of you schmoozing me over. Like, I'd rather you just give me money because this ain't working.
Yep.
So it was just, everything that she said was just so snarky. And it was hard to get quotes because we couldn't rewind because we have to sync up with Serena, which is fine because I'd rather watch it together. But then there was very few quotes that you could find. I'm going to have to watch it again. Part of the clues that she was following to find Frank, she had to go to his work, and his coworker was hilarious. I think that was Mabus. He was great.
Loved Mabus.
And she was like explaining the predicament that they were in. So he just go, "So Frank is on the run from the law, huh? That's just like Frank. He's so adventurous." Like, he just took it in stride. Like, "Oh yeah,
that's a good old Frank."
Like, it was just, and she was like, "What? Why are you saying this?" And that was part of the adventure where she's starting to learn how he sees the world.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like her falling for her
even
husband
more
again.
when the bartender did the same thing. We get a little bit more about his character.
Yep.
It was effective.
And then I have one more that was her. It was her realization that she had fallen in back with Frank, where she said, "We don't give freely of ourselves when we can."
Yes.
And it was, I think she was just lamenting the fact that she wasn't in love with her husband when they were together.
Yeah.
And now that, like, it was basically a do or die, like he could die.
Yeah.
Murderers are after him, the police are after him, the mob. And she finally realized that they were in a slump, but she was still willing to be together, and she never has the chance to tell him that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tracy, I'm glad you brought up that one, the drop dead conversation, because that was one of the quotes that I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember exactly. And then I'm like, what was that quote? And I was like looking it up. So that was definitely one, because she's just so like quick with the words. Yep. And then I think this is when so Inspector Ferris and Eleanor Johnson were in the Johnson apartment. And, because the cops were trying to learn about, and he's just like going through their kitchen and stuff, and he's like, he sees all the dog food, and he's like, "Don't you eat anything but dog food?" And then her response was, "He's not particular, and I'm lazy, so we eat out." And I'm like, that's such a like today thing.
That is now.
That's not a 1950s feel. That's like we're lazy, we're just gonna grab rail trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hence the reason why like their best friends are the Chinese restaurant and the bar.
Yeah.
Which I liked. I liked it because they're not your cookie cutter 1950s American couple with a perfect marriage, and she's cooking him dinner and this and that and blah, blah. It's very, like, again, unique, not unlike this movie. Mm-hmm. The other quote I had is the roller coaster scene where they're underneath the roller coasters, and it's Danny Boy and Eleanor. And they're underneath. Is Danny Boy his name, or is it
his name is Dan? Is Dan Leggett, and they called him Danny Boy. Yeah.
Okay. So the killer. Yeah. Spoiler alert. So the killer. Yeah. So the reporter. They're both underneath the roller coasters, and she was saying that she was like afraid, or it's scary or whatever, and he had responded with, "It's more frightening than romantic," because he was talking about he used to bring his, not the whole quote, but he brought his girlfriend down there back in the day, and he said, "It's more frightening than romantic. It's the way love is when you're young and how life is when you're older."
Oh, I think I missed that.
Yeah, me too.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went. We might need to rewatch, but I grabbed the quote from online because I was like, loved it.
I do rewatch this. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it was fast paced, and it had great lines.
Yeah,
great lines.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
I liked it a lot. I would watch it again, and yeah, I would recommend it.
Yep. Any other notes?
Nope.
That's
All
it.
right. Well, I mean, martini shot's pretty quick and painless.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Yep. Yes.
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 Absolutely.
Yes.
To the point where, you know how for 2019 we had to do a ranking of
Oh,
our
yeah.
movies?
Yep.
This at the moment, I think this might sit at number 1 for 2020
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
This is one where I know there was, I think it was Cat People. No, it was Night Watch, where I went out of my way to be like, okay, you might not listen to the podcast or you might not watch the movies about it. And I made people actually go and, like, I pushed them to watch a movie.
Yep, I'm with
I think this is one where I was like, no, really, please go and watch this one. And we were able to get this on Canopy, which is through our library, a digital format through the library. So you don't have to leave and go anywhere right now during quarantine. Go and watch this movie.
And you don't even have to pay for it.
No,
it's free.
It's free.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna be famous. If everyone was cast in the film, who would we be?
All right, Bets.
Me?
Yep.
All right. Who would I be?
Who'd you cast her as Betsy?
So I, thanks for calling me first because this is a good one. So I don't know why, but I do know why. I put Betsy for Frank Johnson, and I think it's because of the clues. The clues. He leaves little clues.
I like it.
I feel like that's so Betsy. I don't know why, but I feel like if I were to ever do a scavenger hunt, I would want Betsy in charge.
That's hilarious because that's the exact reason why I put myself as Frank.
Interesting.
Wow.
We're practically like the same.
Wow.
Yeah, but I put because of not because of anything else, but specifically because it was like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Where he would leave clues behind, and I feel like a lot of the time I'm the game master compared to playing the game. But I guess you.
But I'm the game facilitator.
Yeah.
Which is two sides of the same coin.
So good job,
Well, that's
Serena.
what I was gonna say. Why do I think Betsy then instead of you?
No,
why wouldn't I think of you?
I love scavenger hunts. No, you got it.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah.
So that's so funny.
I had for Betsy, I had Drunk Girl.
You did have Drunk Girl.
I had Drunk Girl for Betsy. Just because
listen, she had a polka dot hat on. It was
the polka dot. It was the polka dot hat, and I actually almost put it for myself, actually, because she likes hats. She's like, why don't you put it on a hat?
And the other reason, I'm gonna defend your answer for me. Just FYI. The other reason is I feel like I get more friendly when I get drunk.
That is 100% true.
I would not normally talk to a random stranger at the bar, but when I'm drunk, I
would. But drunk Betsy might.
Anyway.
That's so funny.
Good.
All right, so who did you have for yourself?
I put Mavis because
okay,
he's got he's in his little workshop doing his thing, but he likes to hear stories and he likes, he just wants to be your friend. Yeah, Mavis. That's all.
Is Mavis the coworker at the shop?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He was sweet.
Yeah.
I'm sweet, damn it.
When you're drunk. I'm going to do Serena. I have Inspector Ferris for Serena because his love for that dog. He's like, he was there for the dog. He was picking it up. He was still working on a murder investigation, but he was like, all right, well, I'm taking the dog with me. Like, I'm taking care of this dog while you were away. I fed him. I took him out for a walk.
That is the exact reason why I had Ferris for you.
Oh my God.
Was crime solving, but guess I'm going to take care of this dog now.
So I sorry to switch you, but I also had Ferris for Tracy.
Yes. Woo!
But I had it for a different reason.
Go ahead.
I had it, and I think this is because I picture Tracy at work. I picture her at work, and I associate her with like a detective or something.
Yeah.
So I put can picture Tracy cutting it right down to brass tacks.
Yes.
And that's literally
just the facts, ma'am. You said that in the first 5 minutes.
I did say that in the first 5 minutes.
Okay, so should we finish out you or go back to Serena?
Oh, I don't even know where we are right now. Who did you have for Serena?
Well, okay, so you had Ferris.
Yeah.
For Serena, I put the mail girl.
Oh my god, I love the mail girl.
Because she had
who's the mail girl?
She came in to deliver the letter to Mavis, or the mail to Mavis. She had like maybe 3 lines, but 2 of those lines were gushing on Frank Johnson. And I'm like, that I feel like that's it's because
she had a bubbly personality. I'll take it.
She did. But I think it's partially because I just edited Used Cars, and
I was gonna say, yeah,
it was a lot of just us gushing over Kurt Russell, and you were kind of like leading the charge a little bit with that.
You were like, I don't care, he's in it, I'm there for it.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
her 3 lines are 3 lines that I would say in real life. So
yes,
that's accurate.
All right. Okay. So for Tracy. Oh no, wait, Serena, who'd you pick for yourself?
Oh, I picked for myself in a pretty much the same thing I did for the last couple episodes too, like in a wishful way. So I had for myself Eleanor, due to the fact that, okay, of course, all of her sass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's just an aspiration of mine.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I agree.
That's a good, yep.
The hard exterior, but, actually really soft, like in regards to the relationship, her marriage, she puts on this front almost,
mm-hmm.
like this tough front, whatever, I'm over it, whatever. And then, I don't know.
She's layered.
Yeah,
she's got complexity.
Yeah, she's layers.
Okay, Tracy.
Yes.
We both picked Inspector Ferris for you. Who did you pick for yourself?
I picked Frank because of the scavenger hunt.
That's fair.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You said that.
Yeah. So I think we all
right.
We did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
good job, guys.
I have a bonus.
Bonus. Okay, go ahead.
I have a bonus. It's a really quick one. So I have to say this because, and I wish I could have screenshotted or we could have recorded this. You guys both went into hysterics some part earlier, and I look over and all I see are both of your necks, and you're both thrown back. There it is. You're both thrown back. So I was literally like, this is perfect. That creepy carnival laughing lady is all 3 of us as a bonus.
Oh, that was
ouch! Ouch!
Yes, no, I agree.
Yes, that is very true.
Not in a creepy way, but the fact that we all like get into hysterics, like especially when I'm there and witnessing the cat fights and whatever. Yeah. And so that was my bonus character.
All right, I think that's a wrap, guys.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. We'll be posting what our next movie will be on Twitter tomorrow, so head on over there and hit that follow button. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our handle for both is @TheMovieMillies. To find more great episodes, head on over to our website, www.millennials@themoviehouse.com. So until next time,
we're millennials.
And we'll see you at the movie house.